Okay, welcome back. You're here because you want the important info and you want it efficiently. We get that.
Absolutely. Time's valuable.
So let's jump right in. Watches and Wonders Geneva 2025 gave us something pretty exciting.
You're talking about the Tudor Black Bay 58 Burgundy, I assume?
Exactly. And look, this isn't just, a new lick of paint.
No, not at all. It's really being framed as the next generation BB-58.
That's right. We've gone through the reports, the specs, even dug into a bit of the history behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission today, to really unpack why this Burgundy version matters and, well, why you might find it interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing how Tudor tweaks a real cornerstone like the BB-58. It's become such a modern classic, hasn't it?
Definitely. And this Burgundy version, it signals a real step forward, not just looks, but the engine inside, too.
Precisely, which is where it gets really compelling.
Okay, so let's start with the main event, that color, Burgundy. Now, Tudor veterans will remember the original, larger Black Bay debuted with Burgundy back in 2012.
Right. That was the watch that arguably relaunched the brand into the stratosphere.
But the BB-58 rollout was different. Black first, then blue.
And now, finally, Burgundy. But it's not quite the same Burgundy, is it?
No, that's the key point. What are the reports saying about this specific shade?
Well, it sounds quite distinct. The descriptions mention a vibrant metallic color.
Metallic, okay.
And it has a radial brushed sunburst finish. So think light play, dynamism.
Ah, so quite different from the matte dials on the original black and blue BB-58s.
Exactly. Those were more tool watch, maybe slightly more subdued.
Yeah.
This sounds like it has a bit more flair.
Flair, yeah. A bright metallic sunburst. I can picture that catching the light nicely. Where did they pull this specific color from? Is there a story?
There is, and it's quite a neat bit of Tudor lore, actually.
Oh.
The inspiration apparently comes from a 1990s Tudor Submariner prototype, reference 79190.
A prototype, so it never made it to production.
Correct. It had a metallic red dial and bezel, but it remained a prototype. So this new BB-58 is sort of bringing that historical what-if into reality.
That's really cool. A proper nod to the archive, so it's not random, it has roots.
Exactly. And the sources suggest this gives the watch a more, quote, light-hearted aesthetic.
Lighthearted. Compared to the black and blue, do you think they're aiming for maybe a slightly different vibe, a broader audience, perhaps?
It could be. Maybe something less strictly vintage tool watch and a bit more versatile, fun.
Interesting thought. Okay, let's move on to the dial details. We still have that classic BB-58 look, right? The domed surface, the applied markers.
Yes, the core architecture is there. That gentle dome, the easy-to-read applied markers, still filled with grade A Swiss Superluminova, so the lume should be excellent.
Good, good. But there's a key change in the text, isn't there? Down at 6 o'clock.
Yes. Sharp eyes. Gone is chronometer officially certified.
And replaced with?
Master Chronometer.
Okay, that's not just semantics. That means something significant, technically speaking.
Huge significance. It signals the watch has passed the METAS certification. COSC tests the movement, sure.
Right, that's the baseline.
But METAS tests the entire watch head. Much tougher standards, especially regarding magnetism. It's a big step up in guaranteed performance.
We'll circle back to METAS in a bit more detail, but staying on the dial, there was also mention of the hands and marker surrounds.
Correct. The snowflake hands and the indices are still there, of course, but the frames are now rhodium-plated.
Okay.
And the dial text, the printing, is silver. This moves away from the gilt, the gold tone accents seen on the earlier BB-58s.
So less of that vintage warmth, maybe, a bit more crisp. Modern.
Yeah, I think contemporary is the word the reports use. It's a subtle shift in feel.
Got it. Now, the case, the BB-58's 39mm size was a massive part of its appeal. Has that changed?
The diameter is still 39mm. Brushed tops, polished sides, that classic BB-58 profile remains.
Okay.
But here's a key refinement. It's slightly slimmer, just 0.2mm thinner.
Oh, interesting. So what's the total thickness now?
Down to 11.7mm. It might not sound like much, but on the wrist, those fractions of a millimeter can really make a difference in comfort and how it wears.
Definitely, especially under a cuff. And the other dive watch essentials, still solid.
Yep. You still get the domed sapphire crystal up top, the unidirectional rotating bezel naturally.
Naturally.
Solid screw-down caseback, signed screw-down crown. Still good for 200 meters of water resistance. The core dive specs are unchanged.
Good to know. And the bezel insert itself matches the dial, presumably.
Yes, it's described as bright red anodized aluminum. Should complement that metallic sunburst dial nicely.
And you mentioned the crown earlier. There's a tweak there, too.
There is, yeah. The reports mention it has more pronounced fluting.
Like the Black Bay 58 GMT.
Exactly like the GMT.
Yeah.
It's a design detail that probably helps with grip when you're setting the time or winding it. A small touch, but thoughtful.
Nice. Okay, let's get to the powerhouse, the movement. This seems like the biggest single upgrade.
Without a doubt. This is where the next-gen label really earns its keep. It's using Tudor's manufacture caliber MT5400U.
MT5400U. So, replacing the MT5402 from the previous models, what does the U signify, and what are the key specs?
The U likely relates to the METAS certification.
Yeah.
Specs-wise, you're looking at a silicon balance spring, which is great for stability and anti-magnetism. It runs at 4 Hertz, or 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it boasts a pretty solid 65-hour power reserve.
65 hours, that's weekend-proof. Very convenient.
Definitely. Set it down Friday evening, pick it up Monday morning, and it should still be ticking.
Now, back to that dual certification. COSC and METAS. Can you break down why METAS is such a big deal for the wearer?
Sure. So COSC, as we said, tests the lung case movement for accuracy over several days, different positions, temperatures. It's a respected standard.
The industry benchmark for chronometers for a long time.
Exactly. But METAS, run by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, goes further. They test the fully assembled watch.
Okay.
They check water resistance, the power reserve claim, and accuracy during and after exposure to strong magnetic fields, specifically 15,000 Gauss.
15,000 Gauss. That's a lot, right? Way more than you encounter day to day.
It's significantly more. Think about laptops, phone speakers, tablet covers, magnetic clasps on bags, everyday stuff. A METAS certified watch basically shrugs off those fields.
So less worry about your watch suddenly running fast or slow because you left it near your iPad.
Precisely. And the accuracy standard is tighter too. METAS requires 0 to +5 seconds per day average deviation. COSC allows -4 to +6.
So guaranteed not to lose time and a very tight tolerance for gaining. That's genuinely impressive real-world performance.
It really is. It represents a higher level of quality control and resilience.
Okay, so a fantastic movement. How do you attach this improved watch to your wrist? What are the options?
Right, straps and bracelets. Here, things are a bit different from the previous BB58s. No leather or fabric options offered for the Burgundy at launch.
Interesting. So what do you get?
You get 3 choices. First, a black rubber strap. It's a 2-piece design with fitted stainless steel end links.
So it looks integrated with the case, not just a strap tacked on.
Exactly. Should give a seamless look. Then you have 2 stainless steel bracelet options.
2? Okay.
One is a flat 3-link bracelet. Think classic oyster style, but Tudor says it evokes their vintage rivet bracelets.
Ah, nice heritage touch. And the second bracelet?
That's a 5-link design. More rounded links, reminiscent of a Jubilee bracelet, gives a slightly dressier, perhaps more intricate look.
So one quite toolish and vintage-inspired, the other a bit more elegant.
That seems to be the idea, offering distinct styles. And the best part,
all
3 options, rubber, 3-link, 5-link, come with Tudor's T-Fit clasp.
Ah, the micro adjust, that's brilliant.
It really is. Tool-free adjustment on the fly. You can easily expand or shrink the fit by a few millimeters, perfect for changes in temperature or just getting that absolutely perfect fit.
Yeah, anyone who owns a watch without micro adjust knows the pain of being between links. T-Fit is a huge plus for daily comfort.
Absolutely. It's becoming a must-have feature for many people.
Now, the inevitable question, the price. With the METAS movement, the refinements, are we looking at a price hike?
Yes, as you'd expect, it's positioned slightly higher than the previous non-METAS steel BB58s.
Makes sense. What are the numbers?
According to the reports, the retail price on the rubber strap is $4,400 USD.
Okay.
On the 3-link bracelet, it's $4,625 USD.
Right.
And if you opt for the 5-link bracelet, it's $4,725 USD.
So a couple $100 premium for the bracelets and a bit more for the 5-link. Seems reasonable given the upgrades.
Yeah, considering the METAS certification and the new movement, it doesn't feel like an unreasonable jump.
So zooming out, how does this fit into the bigger Tudor picture? Is this just a new color or the start of something more?
It feels like the latter, much like Tudor started upgrading the full-size Black Bay line with master chronometer movements.
Right, they've been rolling that out.
This feels like the first step in doing the same for the mid-size 39mm Black Bay diver family. This Burgundy BB58 is likely the vanguard of the second generation of this model line.
Interesting. So we might expect future BB-58 iterations, maybe new colors or metals, to also feature METAS movements and maybe these subtle case and bracelet refinements.
That would be the logical progression, wouldn't it? Establishing a new baseline for the BB-58.
Okay, time to wrap this up. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways from our deep dive.
All right, so we have a striking new metallic burgundy color, which is not just new, but inspired by a 90s Tudor prototype.
Which is a great story. Plus, a slightly slimmer case profile down to 11.7 millimeter thick.
And the big one, the METAS Master Chronometer certification, powered by the new manufacturer caliber MT5400U. Big step up in performance and anti-magnetism.
And updated strap and bracelet options, rubber, 3-link or 5-link, all featuring that super practical T-fit micro-adjust clasp.
And rhodium-plated hands and indices for a more contemporary feel compared to the earlier gilt models.
Absolutely. It's clear this isn't just, phoning it in with a new color. It's a proper technical and aesthetic evolution of an already hugely popular watch.
Definitely feels like a statement piece for this next chapter of the Black Bay 58,
Yeah.
which, does make you wonder.
Here comes the provocative thought.
Well, yeah. Considering Tudor's knack for dipping into their archives, like with this prototype inspiration and their clear push towards higher technical standards like METAS, what comes next? What other parts of their heritage might they reimagine? And what other technical innovations beyond METAS might they start integrating into these core collections? Where does the dive watch go from here in Tudor's hands?
That's a great question to ponder. What is the next frontier for them? Definitely something for you to think about.